Personalized recommendation method of college art education resources based on deep learning. Deep learning is a meaningful learning based on understanding and the pursuit of transfer application. It promotes the development of higher order knowledge and realizes the application of this knowledge in new situations or the generation of new higher order knowledge by encouraging students to participate in learning deeply and adopt advanced learning strategies appropriately. At present, the traditional art education resources are mainly textbooks and textbooks, and the form is relatively simple, which can not fully reflect the characteristics of the visual art of art. Fine arts can be called plastic arts or visual arts. It is the art of creating visual images with certain space and aesthetics value by using certain materials such as paper, cloth, wood, clay, marble, plastic, etc. Through plastic means, however, the rapid development of network information technology has provided a new opportunity for online art education resources. The recommendation technology of educational resources is a combination of the relevant research of educational resource platform and the research of recommendation algorithm. The user behavior data in the educational resource platform is an important basis for the recommendation algorithm. At the same time, reasonable design and application of the recommendation algorithm can help users to conduct efficient resource screening and independent learning in the Internet education platform. Literature proposes a personalized teaching resource recommendation method based on learner portrait. However, there are still some shortcomings in the existing research results. The main purpose of user behavior analysis in education resource related research is to design reasonable courses, and the data analysis at home and abroad is aimed at obtaining the characteristics and the laws of universal users' learning behaviors. The improvement of the deep learning algorithm of art education in colleges and universities requires the construction of a basic learning architecture, an upgrading architecture, and a complete learning architecture. This chapter will focus on the above contents. Architecture refers to the frame structure formed by combining things that play a supporting role. This is consistent with the definition of architecture. Architecture is a process and a product of planning, designing and building buildings or any other structure. By analogy, it is proposed that learning architecture refers to the process and product of learning design. However, the scope of this definition is too broad and too vague to present the learning architecture for students and teachers. In the field of computer science, learning architecture refers specifically to software architecture. As a metaphor, it is also similar to architecture in the field of architecture, but more operational than the above definition of learning architecture. Specifically, the software architecture is a top-level design structure, which involves the description of the constituent elements of the software system, the interaction between the elements. The element grouping mode is the constraint conditions of the mode. As a blueprint of software system and its development, it makes a plan for the tasks that the design team needs to perform. Learning as a complex system has been recognized by the education community. For example, the popular view of learning ecosystem based on ecological theory in recent years, based on which learning architecture can also be compared to software architecture and positioned as a top-level design structure of the learning system. The direct reason why the learning architecture highlights the flexibility is to more fully meet the different needs of students and let learners have greater control. That is, to reflect the personality and initiative of students. In the teaching mode formed based on the learning architecture, students can learn by any pace according to their own preferences and can also decide which learning tasks to choose and how to learn by themselves. This is consistent with the concept of learning structure. Learning task is the main learning content of deep learning, and the student's ability to decide learning content independently according to needs is an important dimension of flexibility. In deep learning, the effectiveness and interest of learning tasks are two attributes that teachers should focus on when providing optional content. For college art education, the significance of learning events can be demonstrated through the interaction of participation and materialization. Time can be designed, but learning events emerge. The space for students to participate in activities is local, but affected by the overall situation. Power, such as discourse power, is embodied through personal identification and discussion of such identification. From this perspective, these elements define the possible method space for solving design problems. Learning design is completed by solving the problems concerned by 4 pairs of binary elements. In deep learning algorithm combination, the 2 dimensions of each pair of dual elements, such as participation and materialization, are not mutually exclusive, and they can be balanced and coordinated to jointly affect the learning quality. It can be seen from Fig 3 that the level of independence of students is a basis for grouping. Compared with grouping by age or ability, this grouping can provide more autonomy support for students' growth. Learning initiative focuses on how to make students own their own learning, such as setting meaningful goals and taking responsibility for their own learning and personal development. Extended school year studying day extends the students' immersive learning to school holidays, which provides more time and opportunities for students to use school space to achieve their goals. The efficiency of classroom teaching is one aspect that teachers pay most attention to. The classroom teaching oriented to deep learning should pay more attention to classroom efficiency. Otherwise, it is difficult to have time to cultivate high-level abilities and their transfer applications. In deep learning, classroom efficiency can be reflected by the effectiveness of learning tasks, which is generally measured by the competency to promote students' development towards goals. Goals can guide teachers to determine which learning tasks are or are not important. When they are clearly presented to students and the designed tasks focus on these expected goals, learning tasks are highly effective. The open evolution in indicators can let students know clearly what performance they should eventually have. On the platform related to college art education resources, the user behaviors mainly include watching course videos, participating in course discussions, browsing course chapters, participating in course forum interactions, etc. In the above various user behaviors, relevant, detailed behaviors will be generated. For example, when users watch a video course, they will have the detailed behavior of watching the video, including the excite point, fast forward, fast backward position, and times of watching the video. The user behavior studied in this paper is mainly from the perspective of behavior frequency statistics. Different user behavior times are taken is an important basis for user item scoring estimation, and the detailed behavior data is not discussed. The network information resources, especially the images, animations, images and sounds, makes these learning resources more vivid. Transform the static beauty solidified in the traditional textbooks into dynamic beauty and fully display the artistic beauty, such as artistic conception, music, and poetry contained in textbooks. Traditional culture is often static, while modern media art is mainly dynamic. In modern media art, network media is an important form that best represents the epochal characteristics and modern media art. With the development of the Internet, there are more and more web pages. Static text, pictures, and music are being displayed on the network platform as a new dynamic image through the production of animation software. The orientation of college art education is biased, and the college art education is not giving due attention. Although art education in colleges and universities is attracting more and more attention from the public, many colleges and universities still do not attach great importance to it as a foil or auxiliary discipline, so their investment in it is also very limited. This problem has always been a source of great distress for some art education researchers in colleges and universities. Because the development of art education in colleges and universities is very unfavorable. If it goes on like this for a long time, it will eventually lead to such as empty shell of college art education, which does not actually contain any substantive content. In this information age of education, the overwhelming art resources are full of the network. In order to use the art resources on the network more effectively, the strategies and methods of using the network art education resources are particularly important. To improve the effectiveness of the recommendation of the campus network host to the art education resources, we need to go through a certain screening process. Improve our own sensitivity to excellent resources, and ultimately active better use of the network art education resources and improve the learning efficiency of students. In general, the personalized recommendation method of college art education resources based on deep learning can establish the user's knowledge point interest model according to the analysis of user behavior and recommend the resources to the user in the current learning state according to the model. That's all. Thank you for listening.